Hello, everyone. Today we will explore a controversial and mysterious story about a famous figure in the entertainment industry, Diddy, a man known for his lavish parties. But behind it all are bizarre and brutal behaviors that have made participants vomit and faint due to being drugged. But the truth behind these parties is even more horrifying as stories of violence, coercion, and alleged videos capturing gruesome scenes begin to surface. Diddy walked into the courtroom with a calm, confident demeanor, as if he was ready to face any challenge. But no one could have predicted what would happen when the new recording from 50 Cent was played. The entire courtroom went silent as the shocking details in the recording spread, completely dissolving Diddy's usual composure. The man everyone thought was untouchable was now crumbling under the pressure. This moment turned the trial into a tense battle that no one could take their eyes off of. Don't forget to leave a comment with the number 1 if you sympathize with Diddy, or 0 if you have a different opinion. Share your thoughts with us. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what happens next, where we will reveal all the secrets in this story. It made Sean Combs a little worried. I understand when you say, "Yeah, he looks like a gay guy. I don't know what you're talking about. If you don't, I won't come. Do you think this might be too soon?" He walked into the courtroom with a calm and composed demeanor, ready to face whatever was coming his way. But nothing could have prepared him for what happened when the new recording from 50 Cent was played. The room fell silent as the shocking details from the recording spread through the air, and Diddy's usual composure disappeared instantly. The mogul, who was typically unshakable, was clearly overwhelmed by the pressure, a moment that turned the trial into an absolute spectacle. How did everything escalate from typical criticism to this public breakdown? Sean Diddy Combs walked into the courtroom yesterday wearing a sweater over a white collared shirt and gray trousers. He embraced his lawyers as he entered. The courtroom was tense the moment Sean Diddy Combs stepped in. He looked calm, almost too calm, dressed in a neat suit, wearing sunglasses, trying to project the image of a man in control of the situation. But if you pay attention, you can feel it. The quiet restlessness in the air, the way eyes followed him around the room. Everyone knew something big was about to happen. And the energy in the courtroom was not only tense, but suffocating. People whispered, glanced at their phones, wondering what would happen next. Diddy politely nodded to his legal team and sat up straight, trying to appear unaffected by the chaos surrounding his name. But that act didn't last long. The statement was something you could tell was written by a lawyer, because it was at that point that it became aggressive. He said everything changed as soon as the new audio evidence was presented. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It came directly from 50 Cent's upcoming Netflix documentary, a project that has sparked much controversy. When the recording was played, the room fell completely silent. You could hear every word clearly. Diddy's mocking and suggestive voice talking about wanting to go shopping with another man, offering to pay, mentioning the need to kick it. These comments may seem harmless on the surface, but in the context of the ongoing allegations, they suddenly feel layered and revealing. The courtroom wasn't just listening to the audio. They were hearing the aspect that Diddy and 50 Cent had hinted at for years. Many different accusations against him. The 3 main charges are extortion, essentially extortion, sex trafficking, and transporting people across state lines. Some people gasped, Others appeared confused or uncomfortable. A few reporters sitting at the back began typing furiously on their laptops, knowing that this was the moment headlines would be made. Even Diddy's team exchanged glances, clearly not expecting this clip to become evidence. You could feel the shift. The calm was broken and all eyes were on Diddy. At first, he just stared ahead. No reaction, no blinking. But then, as the audio continued and the judge allowed more context to be played, you could see it. The tension in his jaw, the way his hand gripped the table a bit too tightly. Yelling. His words were disorganized, angry, defensive. He pointed, demanding that the recording be erased, shouting that it was taken out of context, that 50 Cent had edited the recording to embarrass him. The judge ordered order to be maintained. His lawyers quickly tried to calm him down, but it was too late. His composure was gone. He's going to jail and come visit him just for fun. I don't know. Look, because right now he might feel like I'm his enemy. Wait, right now? Wait, what? Why? Why does he feel that way? I mean, I'm not his enemy. The federal government? 50 Cent is not just sitting by and watching this trial unfold. He is bringing it right into the spotlight. His Netflix documentary, which includes the infamous recording of Diddy, is not just a random creative project. It's a calculated move. 50 knows exactly what he's doing. The documentary was released at the perfect time, just as the legal heat on Diddy was escalating. And the timing is not a coincidence. It's a strategy. But I don't have what I like. Well, we have nothing at all. I didn't send him anything, babe. If it were on the street like that, we'd be actively doing everything together. As the producer and narrator of the series, 50 Cent made sure the documentary wasn't just about Diddy's career or legacy. It was built to expose. Layer by layer, it unveiled stories that have been whispered for years. But the biggest shock came with the inclusion of a private recording from what seemed like a casual conversation. In it, Diddy's comments didn't just seem strange, they made everyone in the tense courtroom raise their eyebrows. And that's exactly what 50 wanted. Now, people can say whatever they want about 50 Cent. He's a master troll, a marketing genius, and one of the most persistent figures in hip-hop when it comes to settling scores. But when it comes to this documentary, there's something more than just petty revenge. Certainly, the rivalry between 50 and Diddy has lasted for years. Small criticisms in interviews, mysterious social media posts, and inside jokes about rumors that never disappear. But with the latest allegations surrounding Diddy and the legal mess he's caught up in, 50 saw an opportunity. And instead of just posting memes or criticisms, he went further. He made sure the whole world would hear about a side of Diddy that most people would never see. Now, fifth, when you constantly call Puff gay, does that affect your relationships in Hollywood? I don't call him that. No, I don't call him that. I didn't call him gay. I said, let me read. Let me read. You could call it a personal feud, and maybe part of it is, but it also seems like 50 Cent wants to lift the veil on something deeper. What he believes has been protected in the industry for too long. He used the documentary as a weapon, yes, but also as a mirror. And whether you like him or not, it still works. The fact that the court even allowed the audio to be used shows just how explosive it really was. The audio evidence presented in court was a game changer, a bombshell that left everyone in the room stunned. It wasn't just a casual conversation. It was a raw, unfiltered look at what many had only speculated about for years. When the audio was played, it was clear that Diddy's words and actions in the recording were not only inappropriate, but also completely incriminating. One of the most shocking moments was when Diddy casually talked about taking a man shopping, making comments that were immediately uncomfortable and entirely inappropriate. "Hey, why don't we go shopping? I'll pay for it," he said, as if this was just a casual interaction. But the way he said it with no hesitation and no boundaries made it seem more like an attempt to cross a line that Diddy clearly wasn't concerned about crossing. The entire courtroom fell silent when this track was played. Everyone tried to process the weight of what they had just heard. "Excuse me," saying, "Sorry, Your Honor. I'm a bit nervous today." This wasn't just one comment. The entire exchange painted a picture of someone crossing professional boundaries in ways that could easily be seen as predatory. A comment about kicking it, followed by a strange remark about playing with your butt in Miami, made more than a few people raise their eyebrows. These inadvertent comments made it hard to ignore the kind of behavior that had been rumored about Diddy for years. Whether he intended to say these things or not is one thing, but the fact that he said them, especially in a recorded conversation, is another. The courtroom became abuzz, and it was clear that this would not disappear anytime soon. The content of the recording not only raised doubts about Diddy's character, it seemed to support more serious allegations against him. For years, people had hinted at his suspicious behavior behind closed doors. But this recording provided the public with something concrete. It was evidence that connected the dots in a way no one could deny. The recording also related to broader allegations against Diddy, particularly accusations of his involvement in toxic behavior and manipulation within the music industry. The way he spoke to others casually, the way he ignored personal boundaries, all of it tied to the allegations that had followed him for years. It was no longer just rumors. It was made public for everyone to hear, making it much harder for Diddy to maintain his composure or narrative. When the audio evidence was introduced in court, it sent shockwaves through the courtroom. It wasn't just a surprising moment. It was a game changer that completely shifted the dynamics of the case. The prosecution now had something concrete, something that directly challenged Diddy's defense. Before the recording, much of the case was based on allegations and rumors. But hearing Diddy's own words, his casual insinuations about inappropriate behavior, everything changed. She said it was no longer just him talking. It was the evidence the prosecution needed to strengthen their argument and prove that Diddy's actions were part of a disturbing pattern. Now, we want to hear your thoughts. Do you think the recording will change the outcome of the case, or will Diddy's defense still hold strong? Leave a comment below, like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on the latest developments in this shocking story. 8 celebrities, 6 male, and 2 female. How many of those 8 celebrities are almost minors or potentially minors? 2 males. This new evidence has given the prosecution an unexpected advantage. They can use it to paint a clearer picture of Diddy's behavior, making it harder for the defense to downplay the allegations. The recording doesn't just discuss an inappropriate comment. It speaks to a larger context of toxic behavior and manipulation that has been simmering beneath the surface for years. Suddenly, the prosecution has a powerful tool to prove that this is not just a personal dispute. It is part of a broader, more troubling pattern of behavior that needs to be addressed. It's no longer just about the allegations. It's about what the recording reveals about Diddy's true character. It could be a life sentence. The sex trafficking charge carries a minimum of 15 years, and the charge of transporting people for prostitution carries a minimum of 10 years. Therefore, the immediate legal consequences are significant. First, Diddy's reputation has been severely impacted. The defense team struggled to find a way to explain the content of the recording, but no legal terms could erase the directness and clarity of what was said. The courtroom was filled with skepticism when the recording was played, and it was clear that Diddy's position in the trial had significantly weakened. The defense's attempt to downplay the importance of the recording only made them appear defensive, which could draw more attention from the prosecution. In response to the recording, Diddy's legal team issued a statement, but it seemed more like a legal defense than damage control. They tried to minimize the significance of the recording, arguing that it had been taken out of context and that Diddy's words did not reflect his true intentions. But as anyone following the trial could see, the damage had already been done. The recording left little room for interpretation. It was a direct, unfiltered look into Diddy's interactions, and his team had a hard time explaining it. As events unfolded in the courtroom, the media wasted no time reporting on it. The courtroom drama quickly became the talk of the town, with headlines flooding the media, blogs, and entertainment websites. The leaked audio, with its shocking content, was the centerpiece of many stories. News channels and websites couldn't stop replaying the shocking moments and analyzing every detail. The case in court was not just a legal drama. It had become a grand spectacle that the public could not ignore. It wasn't just the content of the recording that caused a stir. It was the fact that a high-profile figure like Diddy, known to be untouchable, was now facing these serious allegations in the public eye. The U.S. Attorney's Office couldn't offer any deal, and it was clear that Diddy wouldn't accept any deal. This deal would involve decades in federal prison. We're talking about a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years for both drug trafficking and sex trafficking charges. Fans, fellow artists, and the public had a lot to say about this situation. The reactions were mixed, but many fans quickly chose a side. Some were steadfast in supporting Diddy, seeing the recording as just an attack from his enemies. These fans, loyal to Diddy for years, didn't want to believe their idol could be involved in anything shady. On the other hand, there were fans who felt betrayed. They saw the leaked recording as confirmation of what they had suspected all along. For them, the issue wasn't just about the lawsuit. The issue was the disillusionment of seeing a powerful figure like Diddy accused of such suspicious behavior. These fans spoke out on social media, expressing their shock and disappointment. They saw the leaked recording as confirmation of what they had suspected all along. For them, the issue wasn't just about the lawsuit. The issue was the disillusionment of seeing a powerful figure like Diddy accused of such suspicious behavior. These fans voiced their shock and disappointment on social media. Other artists also got involved. Some took the opportunity to distance themselves from Diddy, while others showed their support. The music industry is a tightly knit community. So when something like this happens, it doesn't just involve one individual. It impacts the entire industry. Some artists, especially those who had previously clashed with Diddy, saw this moment as a form of vindication. Others, especially those with personal or professional relationships close to him, were more cautious in their comments, unsure of the full implications of the situation and how deeply he might go into the details of his testimony. And because of the 8 people in the videos, 8 celebrities in the videos who are allegedly victims of sex crimes, we know who they are, but we will not name them. Social media played a huge role in spreading and reacting to the news. Platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok exploded with responses. Memes, videos, and hot takes flooded the feeds. Users shared their thoughts and opinions, adding fuel to the fire with every post. People from all walks of life had something to say, whether they were trying to decode the audio or making jokes about the situation. In this age of social media, news spreads quickly and reactions are amplified. With each new tweet or Instagram story, the drama surrounding Diddy's courtroom explosion continued to grow, making it impossible for anyone to ignore. The media, driven by the reactions on social media, continued to cover the story, keeping it at the forefront of public discussions. The feud between Diddy and 50 Cent has simmered for nearly 2 decades. It all started in the mid-2000s when 50 Cent first attacked Diddy, openly expressing his contempt for the mogul. At that time, 50 was on the rise with his albums, and Diddy, a figure with a solid standing in the music industry, was one of his biggest targets. For years, their rivalry has been emphasized by diss tracks, public insults, and a series of back-and-forth criticisms in interviews and on social media. This battle has spread throughout the hip-hop world with fans and artists taking sides, making it one of the most talked-about feuds in the industry. Their hostility first made headlines in 2006 when 50 Cent released a diss track, The Bomb, aimed directly at Diddy. This song was a direct hit, exposing the tension between them and setting the stage for years of back and forth in the public eye. Since then, 50 has never hesitated to criticize Diddy, often accusing him of being fake or questioning his business practices. But Diddy has always maintained a calm and composed demeanor in the face of these attacks, refusing to let 50 provoke him up until now. I don't know. I just hope everything is okay with him on the inside. I'm talking about being in the cage. Yeah, because in the statement they mentioned this. Oh, you're talking about Jay. The recent court case triggered by 50 Cent's Netflix documentary and the audio evidence it uncovered marks another significant chapter in their ongoing rivalry. This latest development comes as no surprise to anyone who has followed their feud, as 50 has made it clear for years that he hasn't stopped pursuing Diddy. The documentary, highlighting some of the more suspicious aspects of Diddy's life and career, provided 50 Cent with the weapon he needed to land a blow to Diddy's carefully crafted public image. The leaked recording, particularly the parts where Diddy is accused of engaging in some strange and uncomfortable interactions, only added fuel to the fire. For Diddy, this courtroom drama represents the most public and serious challenge to his reputation in a long time. Although he has tried to ignore past criticisms and insults, the revelation of the recording in such a high-profile context is something he can't easily overlook. 50 is playing the long game here, using the power of his platform and his connection to the documentary to strike when Diddy least expects it. And timing is key. When Diddy is facing legal issues in a trial, 50 couldn't have asked for a better moment to turn up the heat.